Antimicrobial resistance is on rise now everywhere and is changing our world.
So we have this plate. These plates are the ones that we are going to use for carrying out the susceptibility technique. Call them Muller, Hinton, Agar. I think Muller Hinton was an African. Do you remember? Yes, he was an African. He was an African who developed, discovered that he came up with an idea of using Muller Hinton.
From our body.
Yes, from our body. So this plate, you can see it is transparent. It can help us to see whether our bacteria is resistant or not. So on this plate is the one that we are going to use to spread. Now the technique of inoculating our bacterium on this plate, we call it surface spread technique. You have to spread the bacterium all over the surface of the plate before placing the antibiotic discs. Are we together? Before placing the antibiotic discs. So this is our standard. As you can see, this stability standard is the recommended standard. So when we are dissolving our suspension here, we do it while we are comparing it with this one. All together. This is a 0.5 McFarland standard. So if it has not yet reached the same stability, you still add. You continue adding until you can see that they are equivalent, they are matching all together. Then from here, we can now use our swab to dip in. After we dip in, we spread now our bacterium on the surface of the plate.
Antimicrobial resistance is on rise now everywhere and is changing our world. We have to join up this time.
And this bacterium seems to be hard nut to crack altogether. It's not that easy. What are we expecting to see here? We expect to see an inhibition, zone of inhibition, a zone of clearance around the discs. Because when we added this disc, the content of the disc diffused into the medium. And that content, we say it should be able to kill what? The bacteria. Already resistant to the current drug. Yes. Are we together? Mm-hmm. So this can help us to actually detect resistance. All together. Either it is one bacteria, but some cells of those same bacteria are already resistant to levofloxacin and ciprofloxacin. Are we together? And this one was a Staphylococcus species, as you can see. So you can see levofloxacin is which class of antibiotics? Fluoroquinolones. Third generation antibiotic. And it is giving out that zone in these hours, a few hours of culture, but you can see. You have ceftriaxone. These are the drugs that we talk of to be very good. Ceftriaxone. Doxycycline. You see doxycycline, well, a drug, as my friend has asked, a drug having a very small zone does not necessarily mean it is resistant. No. It could be that its molecules are what? Are very small, or it depends on the molecular weight also. For a medication to diffuse altogether, it may not diffuse far because its molecular weight is what? It's high altogether. So it's going to diffuse just a short distance, but it will give us a significant what? Result. And when we measure this and you go to the chart, it's within the range of susceptible, it's susceptible. It is growing even in the presence. And I continue to purify it, and then I can do molecular work to detect which genes does it has to make it resistant to. This is Amoxiclav. Can you imagine? Amoxiclav is a combination. we talk of combination therapy, and then we talk of AMR-Club, and this guy is saying no, I can't survive. Other people use vernier caliper, but here we can use this transparent roller. And this is approximately, it is 1 centimeter, but it's 10 millimeter. How do you get it? Yes. Thank you. You know mathematics. You understand. So it is 10 millimeters. Now that millimeter, you are going to go to the interpretative chart and you compare it for this particular bacteria. Because that chart, CSLI, they have for all the common bacterial pathogens. So you go specifically under that one of Enterobacter species. And then you're going to go to the particular drug. This is erythromycin. You go to the particular drug and then you read along the line. You will see where they put zone of inhibition. Now that is where you will see S, I is intermediate, then R. So you will see the ranges that between less than equal to 10 or less than 10 is what? Is either under susceptible. Then between is what? 5 to something, then that is intermediate. Then when it is that, below that or greater than that is resistant, or below or equal to that is what? Is resistant.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, my colleagues.
Please can you present yourself for us?
This was my first time to attend this workshop about antimicrobial resistance, and what I saw was quite interesting, and I quite really liked whatever was done in the workshop. And discovering that there is Pseudomonas in milk, that one made me scared. So that one I learned it that I have to be careful.
My name is Mwonja Gilbert. Medicine student, MBCHB 1.1 at Kingston University.
Okay, you've been part of the workshop today. How was your experience?
Wow, it was one of the most constructive ones. I'm so glad to have participated and hopefully attend. I've learned a lot. I'm so pleased, and I'll definitely come. I'll put you as I come, and I'll bring more because I have learned a lot.
I'm called Kavedic Stones, PhD 2.2 electrical student and part of the AMR-Club of Kingston University.
Thank you for being part of us today. So how was the experience?
The experience was very good. As you know, they say microbes are silent killers, and sometimes I just wonder what would happen in the world if these warriors came in like bacterial resistance, we are resistant every year, meaning by 20 years the world will be down. So I'm really happy.
Oh, thank you so much. Can you tell us one of the things you've learned today?
I've learned that most common species which we didn't expect to be resistant, they have started becoming resistant. Like for example, I had some culture where I expected at least amoxicillin to be sensitive, but came out and found even AMR-Club wasn't even susceptible to the organism. So it's a bit scary that even the common infections which we expected to be treated at just a low cost, they're becoming resistant. So that's the need of putting more efforts in the club and more efforts in AMR to fight against those specific.
Akampura Denise, I'm in third year. Currently, my clinical studying pediatrics at Kingston University.
Thank you. So you've been with us today. Can you share with us your experience? How was it?
I must say I'm very excited. It has really been a good experience for me. This is my very first antimicrobial resistance workshop I'm attending, and I've really learned a lot, and for that I'm very happy because I've come to realize that the drugs we call good are really not actually that good because some organisms are showing resistance to them. So, yeah.
Thank you so much. Like, what have you learned from today? Any idea?
This specifically, I've learned that antimicrobial resistance, the way we are seeing it is not the way it really is. It is a silent pandemic, I may say, because not very many people are paying attention to it, and a time is going to come when we shall not have any drugs for maybe the UTIs, and you know UTIs are common among university students because they share the toiletries like that thing. So a time is going to come when the ceftriaxone, we call a good drug, when the gentamicin, which we call a good drug, can no longer help because the organisms are showing resistance to it and nothing's being done. So me, I would call upon other people all over to come and join us as we fight this, because together we can. Thank you.
Really grateful for this talk and for this workshop. We've learned a lot about IST and its role in detection of AMR. I thank the whole team and for the great initiative for this university, and I believe that with togetherness and working together towards this, we are going to achieve much more for our university as well as our community. Thank you very much.
Together, we can be guardians of our antimicrobials.